next, it is the final for our MightE Bambinos. Right then, soon enough we'll see those MightEs come out on circuit, and you'll notice a particular change in engine notes in these ones, particularly that these don't have any engine notes. Very silent. I always find it odd when I pull up to the circuit. It's totally silent. You can occasionally hear the tyres squealing as they head on round, but in these damp conditions, we're not even going to have that as well. It'll simply be the rattling of the karts underneath the drivers, and maybe some shouting if we get any frustrated Bambino drivers out there as well. Well, let's have a look at the grid then. Pole position, Rafe Verdi takes pole in this one. He's had a very positive day from this one so far. Of course, Racing Rafe, as he's known on social media. Jules Nash will join Rafe on the front row, with Oliver Reynolds and Arthur Etherington on row number 2. Teddy Veselowski and Ayrton Ayula are on row 3. Ayrton, your championship leader heading in today. They're starting from row number 3. Joshua Chung and Aidan Castleman are on row 4, followed by Emerson Elliott and Max West on row 5. They round out the top 10. They're followed by Ayrton Tennant and Oscar Osborne. Then it's Harriet Jones and Archie Watkins on row 7. And then row 8, finalising the grid, are Oliver Mullen and Cruz Rogers. Those 16 drivers on the grid then for this MightE Bambino final. Fantastic to have the MightEs back once again. And as I mentioned, Ayrton Ayula winning, or in the hot seat in the championships, I should say. 6 points ahead of Jensen Paris after round number 1. And Rafe Verdi, your pole sitter, 3rd in the championship going into today. Well, the flag drops and we're racing once again here at Shenington. And it will be Rafe Verdi who leads us down into the first couple of corners. And as I mentioned earlier, a significant lack of noise from these drivers than what we had in the first heat of the day. But that doesn't mean a significant lack of exciting racing. These MightE Bambinos always put on a show. And let's see how they go then as they press on for their 10-minute plus 1 lap final. Already Rafe Verdi and Jules Nash looking to break away at the sharp end. I think it's Oliver Reynolds who's trying to go with them at the moment, but a significant split then back to the following drivers. Was that a spin there? It was indeed. One driver goes for a spin, and so does a second. The second one was Ayrton Tennant there on the 48. I think it was our 3rd or 4th place driver though who went for a spin initially, potentially Arthur Etherington, maybe Ayrton Ayula who's gone for a spin there. We'll double check that when they come across the line after lap number 1. Well, there we can see who's up to 3rd place. It's Teddy Veselowski on the 25. What a start from Teddy Veselowski. I thought it was Oliver Reynolds who'd gone with them, but no, it is Veselowski. Fantastic start from the young driver, and he's looking to chase down our 2 race leaders. Well, it is Jules Nash who's going to lead us through onto lap number 2. Then a great start to this race for Jules. He's made the jump on Rafe Verdi already, but Rafe very much going with him. So there we go then. 3 places gained for Teddy Veselowski, 3 places gained for Aidan Castleman, 3 places gained for Joshua Chung, and 3 places gained for Max West. So a great start to the race for all 4 of those drivers. As a bit too much water taken there on the inside apex curb, and the 40 follows around as well, and so does another driver. 3 spins there through Cafe Curve. That can always be the case, particularly in younger drivers like this. When someone spins ahead of you, it's so easy to grab those brakes, and you end up going for a spin yourself. So a few drivers falling by the wayside there down at Cafe Curve. It was a good attempt to the move on the inside there from the initial spinner, but found that wet patch on the apex, and round they went. Still had that steering lock on as they tried to apply the power, and the kart didn't want to do that. Round it goes, and they find themselves dropping down to the back of the order. A real shame for them. But of course, fastest lap off of the start goes to Jules Nash. Let's see what Jules does on this full proper lap of proceedings. Of course, a standing start for the previous final, same for this one as well, and we'll have the same for the Honda Cadets next time out, and then we will move on to rolling starts through the rest of the day. 103.9 then for Jules Nash, but it's actually Aidan Castleman in 4th place who's taken the fastest lap of a 103.753. Clearly the assistance from the karting coach, Mr. Josh Mercer, helping Aidan Castleman out there as he finds a new fastest lap of the race. Can he find a way through on Teddy Veselowski? He looks for it there down at Stratford Bend, and he's got it done. As there's 2 more spinners in the background. That, I think, was Oliver Reynolds and Max West potentially spinning round. Oscar Osborne, Cruz Rogers, all in a similar area of the circuit as well. A real shame for those drivers again. So really, in this final, if you can keep it on the black stuff and keep yourself facing in the right direction, you're on for potentially quite a decent result here. Just try to make sure you don't find yourself facing in the wrong direction. I mean, that's a pretty good rule to live by if you're a racing driver, to be fair, as there's another move there down at the final corner. Lovely switchback, though, from the 77 of Oliver Reynolds, and he finds his way back through then. So potentially that was Max West still battling with him. Who's going to drop down the order? So it's Joshua Chung who spun down there with Max West, and who went with them? Was it Cruz Rogers potentially? So Max West comes through in 8th, Joshua Chung comes through in 9th. I think potentially it was then Cruz Rogers. He comes through now in 10th place. So again, a reshuffle of the order once more there on lap number 3. We head through to lap number 4, and now it's Oliver Reynolds who takes the fastest lap of the race. So plenty of drivers to be watching out for here in this MightE Bambino final. And it just seems as though these chasing drivers are settling into pace. Although it is a 103.8 from Jules Nash, so it's only a tenth or two being gained by those chasing drivers. But as they say at Tesco, every little helps. And let's see how quickly they can catch these top 3 then. Castleman still the one leading the charge for those top 3. But here's the 77 of Oliver Reynolds continuing to look feisty. He has the fastest lap of the race, and he now has 4th place. Through he goes on Veslovsky, but no, Veslovsky chops across on corner exit and points forward. He wants to work together here with Reynolds, but I'm not sure Reynolds is going to be too happy there with the overtake. I think he wants to scamper off clear and be the one to lead them to chase back down Aidan Castleman, who has well and truly broken away from these 3. They're bringing Arthur Etherington, though, into the fight. He wants to get involved now with this exciting fun, and there you go. Just getting the drive off the corner there is the 77 of Oliver Reynolds, and Reynolds finally does get the move done then. Second time of asking for Reynolds, and he's through into P4. Well, these 3 drivers probably start need to working together a little bit more now. Well, that wasn't working together, but it seems like it might have worked then for Arthur Etherington. He pulls alongside now of Teddy Veslovsky. Veslovsky will look to hang it around the outside, which will of course become the inside there for the left-hander of chicane. Hanging it around the outside, attempting there was Arthur Etherington. Nearly squeezed over that exit curb, but he keeps on the black stuff, keeps on the circuit. Has to slot in behind though, sadly, of Teddy Veslovsky. Well, some great initial pace in this race from Teddy Veslovsky, as that's a big move down the inside. So late on the brakes. Fantastic move there from Arthur Etherington. That was full commitment into the Wilkins complex, and it's paid off. He sends it down the inside, and on again, second time of asking on Teddy Veslovsky, makes his way through. So Veslovsky, sadly for him, losing 2 positions there on lap number 5. Well, as I was saying, Veslovsky with some great early pace making his way through the order, but as the rest of the drivers around him have settled into pace, Veslovsky at the moment not quite able to match with the drivers around him. That last lap of 105.2, whereas Oliver Reynolds, who made the overtake on him on the last lap, don't forget, popped in a 102.8, a good half a second quicker than any of the drivers that he's chasing down ahead of him. Here we look back to your race leader of Jules Nash. Has he done enough here in the early stages? Look how much he's broken away from Ray Birdie. It's a good 8-10 kart lengths, or at least 10 MightE Bambino kart lengths between the 2 of these drivers. Not the biggest of karts, these ones, but understandably so for the age of the drivers racing them. Well, Jules Nash will head round the final corner once again and lead us on to a new lap of proceedings. Reynolds still with that fastest lap. 102.8 for him, 103.1 for Castleman, 103.1 for Rafe Birdie, and a 102.9 for Jules Nash. 3.5 minutes still left to go in this final then. Continue to follow your race leader here on the number 18. So as I was chatting before the race then, Ayrton Ayula, great round it was for him at round number 1. Doesn't look like it's gone his way though, sadly, here in the final. He just made a move on the previous lap on Cruz Rogers to get himself back into the top 10, and he's about to gain another place as well, courtesy of Joshua Chung's mechanical flag. What a shame for the driver of the number 42. He'll be heading back into pit lane a little bit earlier than he would have expected. And sadly, Joshua Chung out of the race then with a couple of minutes to go. Can't quite see what it is that's caused that mechanical flag, but people much smarter than me have clearly seen something. He's got to make his way back into pit lane now. If he doesn't follow his mechanical flags, he'll be getting himself a black flag and more than likely a disqualification from the race anyway. So either way, whether he does or doesn't come in for the said mechanical flag, it will be 0 points, sadly, for him from this race. A real shame then for Joshua Chung after that spin down at Stratford earlier on. He settled back into the race well, but clearly something on the car not quite right. Well, we've had a change for 3rd place then. We said Oliver Reynolds, his lap times were fantastic, and he's been chasing down Aidan Castleman, and now he's found a way through on Aidan Castleman. First driver down into the 101s is Oliver Reynolds, and he's now got about 1.7 seconds in between himself and Rafe Birdie. And on the previous lap, he was around 9/10 quicker than Rafe. So Oliver Reynolds getting properly fired up here on the number 77. He is flying through in this final. Whether he simply is taking to these conditions like a duck to water, pun intended, or whether the team around him, whether that be Dad or mechanic or whoever, has got this kart set up perfectly for these conditions. Either way, it seems to be working well. But you can already see, with a bit of sunshine that we've had here over the first two finals, and of course the wet tyres as well, clearing a bit of water, you can already see the dry line starting to form around here at Shenington. So maybe we will, of course, touch wood, touching wood here in the commentary box, that is barring any serious precipitation continuing on this afternoon, and I think we are potentially expecting some. I know we expect to have some around now, but there's potential maybe it came a little bit early. We did have a serious downpour, maybe about 30 or 40 minutes before we went live here from Shenington. Hopefully it holds off though, and I look forward to seeing when the switchover is to those slick tyres. Well, look at this. Rafe Verdi is under a lot of pressure there in the background from Oliver Reynolds. Verdi was a little bit slidey there out of the Stratford corner, and Reynolds got a lovely exit. Has Reynolds been able to get the move done though? There is your leader continuing to press on down, and actually potentially getting some back markers then is Jules Nash. He's looking to hunt them down now, but Rafe Verdi and Oliver Reynolds in behind. There's potential for a switch round for second place. We'll wait and see as to whether they are able to get that done, but here is Jules Nash continuing on round then. He won't see the last lap board this time around. Still 30 seconds on the clock as he heads on then to lap number 10 of this race. New personal best once again for Jules Nash, and yes, Oliver Reynolds did make the move then out of the Stratford hairpin, and Reynolds is through into second place. Rafe looks to try and fight back there, but a little bit of a slidey moment through Cafe sees him lose the momentum, and that again gives the opportunity for Reynolds to scamper off here. Does he have enough time to catch up to Jules Nash though? This is going to be a challenge as Nash picks his way through a couple of the back markers. I think that gap is just a little bit too big here for Reynolds to chase down. He's done a valiant effort through the rest of this final. He beaten his own time on the lap before last, a 1:01.8, and even when making overtakes, he pops in a 1:02 dead as well, matching and actually beating still the pace of your race leader. What a race this has been from Oliver Reynolds. Sadly for him, I just don't think it's quite going to be enough to catch your current race leader. Of course, Oliver started third place in this final, dropped back initially on the race start, but then slowly but surely picked his way through the order. Up to second place he's gone, but there comes Jules Nash then. Across the line he goes to start the final lap of proceedings as drivers going three wide there down into the first corner. As one, they're trying to make up positions, but two, they're also picking their way through a couple of back markers. Well, this throws the cat amongst the pigeons as Reynolds, Verdi and Castleman also looking to get involved as well here in the squabble for second place. There is your race leader continuing on down. He's exiting the Stratford hairpin now, and here come the rest of the drivers. Still Reynolds there in second place, Verdi in third and Castleman in fourth, but Castleman all over the back of Verdi, and they now go side by side as they exit the Stratford hairpin. The battle for second continuing on then as they head down through into the chicane, as there is Jules Nash now. Only a few more meters to go here before he can get his hands on the trophy for taking the victory in the final. Brilliant final it's been for Jules Nash. Started second on the grid for this one, only had to get past Rafe Verdi, and he did that at the first corner. Round the final corner comes Jules Nash, and he will win in the MightE Bambino Final. Jules Nash sees the checkered flag first and gets maximum points to his name there from the final. What's it going to settle itself out? They were almost three wide across the line, and Rafe Verdi takes it there on the final lap. Great battling between those three young drivers, but Rafe Verdi, or Racing Rafe as he's known, gets it done on the final lap. Well done to Rafe Verdi. Second place goes his way. Oliver Reynolds having to settle for third. Well, there you see then, Reynolds picking up the pace amazingly through that final, but at the final moments, the other drivers seemingly able to match him. Rafe Verdi gets through into P2, and Aidan Castleman sadly just off of the podium in that one, but he does grab the fastest lap on the penultimate lap, a 1:01.785 for Oliver Reynolds. What a brilliant final that was in MightE's. Jules Nash breaking away very nicely there at the sharp of the order, but a brilliant squabble we were treated to there right up to the dying moments between Verdi, Reynolds and Castleman. Behind them, Arthur Etherington rounded out the top five, and then behind them as well we look down to the rest of the top 10 as the final few drivers come across the line to end that MightE Bambino final. Here is the final finishing results then of that one. Of course, provisional results as well, don't forget. Make sure you head over to results.alphatiming.co.uk/UKKS to double check the finalised results. But provisionally then anyway, Arthur Etherington rounds out the top 5 with Teddy Veslowski just behind, then Oscar Osborne, Max West, Ayrton Ayula and Emerson Elliott rounding out the top 10. They were followed by Cruz Rogers, Archie Watkins, Harriet Jones, Oliver Mullen, Ayrton Tennant and Joshua Chung. Sadly, Joshua Chung, our only non-finisher in that one, courtesy of that mechanical flag with about 5 minutes to go in that race.